Okay, right. I want to say hi, guys. Welcome to another video here. So this is another art video. This is Autodesk Sketchbook, a very good art software. It's for art and it's free. Free, okay, but it's missing a feature and it's pissing a lot of people off. It's really annoying a lot of people, including myself, big time. If you're used to softwares like Photoshop and Krita and stuff like that, you'll know that there's a way that you can draw inside a shape, draw or paint inside of a shape, and have it like not paint anywhere else. Now, there's two ways of doing this. Two ways we usually do this. And the one way is, when I draw like this, for example, you can see the black lines in this example are going over the blue, okay? If I wanted to make those stay within only the blue area, usually I would lock the transparency, or the alpha transparency, whatever it's called, of this same layer of this blue mark here, for example. I would lock this layer so that now I can only, paint within that section. But the other way that is much more handy, because we don't want to be destructive, we don't want to destroy this picture necessarily, we want to work on another layer above it, and it's usually called a clipping mask, which I think sounds very confusing. A clipping layer sounds better, clipping layer, right? And usually that's what we'd do. We'd make another layer on top of it, of this layer, which will be completely blank, plain, but it would clip, so that we do the same thing. You just literally paint within only this shape, but not directly on this shape per se. So you see what I mean? Now, Sketchbook is a wonderful piece of software. I don't know if they've added the feature since I'm making this video, since you've seen this, but for a long time, up until now, as far as I know, it still has not included. It's not included this feature, this clipping masks or clipping layers, and I think it's really silly. I want to say, okay, it's fucking stupid, right? You've got an awesome piece of software, something so simple like that. Why can't they add it? I don't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to add it at all. Anyway, okay, so let's have a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer above this, okay? No, before I do that, what I'll do is, there's a couple of ways we can deal with this. One way is I think what I want to do is, let me think about this. I'm going to make this completely black. What the heck? Yeah, I'm just going to make it completely black, right, just to make it simple. I'm going to turn down my saturation. You may not want to do this, but I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to make this completely black, dark, right? Okay, so it's like that, okay, right? And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make a duplicate of this layer straight directly above it, okay? Good. I'm trying to think if that was the way I did it before. Yeah. Alright, and I'm gonna, in fact, no, I'm gonna make it grey, okay, make it grey. So I've just deleted that layer. We'll make it grey, and now I'll make a duplicate of this grey layer on top. But the top layer, what I'm going to do with the top layer is I'm going to turn the brightness up. I'm going to go to Image, Adjust, and just I'll go to Saturation, Hue and Saturation, and I'll turn the lightness up, all the way up. Now what you'll find, very annoyingly, is it's still not perfect, because it gives you this line, this edge line around it. Pretty cool if that's what you want, but it's a light little edge around it, and we don't really want to see that. But heck, this is what we're going with for now. Now, yeah, I've got the lock. It's on locked. Okay, transparency of lock, transparency. It says. So I've just got it locked, the padlock, and I'm going to choose a black pen, and I'm going to draw over this, right? Now, I don't want to see this white layer. All I want to see, and it's pretty good, there's a line around it in a way, because it shows us kind of like what we're looking at. If we didn't have that line, we wouldn't be able to really see too clearly, unless we of course turn down the opacity. And this is what I was going to say to you. So you see, but before we do that though, so I'm drawing with just within this shape, and it's the same shape as the one below, of course. It's not actually an invisible layer like it should be in a clipping mask or clipping layer. It's just a duplicate of that, and I've made it white, but the bottom one is still a grey. Okay, now what I'm going to do from the layers blending modes, I'm going to choose luminosity. Okay, I've chosen luminosity for the blending mode for the top layer, and I'm just going to turn down the opacity of that slightly. And I just find it's a good one to work with. In this case, yeah, fair enough, it still makes my lines look greyish looking. But you see what I mean? You can try a different one. You can try overlay. Well, overlay, same thing really. I'm just playing with the transparency, it's all I'm really doing. There's not much you can do. I can go to screen. How about screen? No. Multiply. Oh, multiply? No, multiply doesn't work either. Multiply makes things darker anyway, but I guess if I wanted this bottom one to be lighter, I would just have to go into the bottom layer and then lighten it up a bit, go to the brightness and contrast, or the hue saturation, and go to lightness and turn it up a bit. So that's one way you can work it. So by adjusting the brightness of the bottom layer and working with a multiply layer. This works, as I say, for black lines. I'm just using black, okay? Remember that, okay? I've got basically the bottom layer is a shade of grey. The top layer is a duplicate of that shape, whatever I've got there, which is usually just a simple one colour, okay? One tone, one value, one thing, and then the top layer, as I say, is just completely white, so you can't see anything. No, I don't. We couldn't use an eraser. I can make it nothing. It has to be something there, and we lock the transparency, especially for the top layer, so we can't paint anywhere where it's not transparent, basically. And then it just looks kind of transparent. But then I'm using black lines here because they show up well. I've turned it to multiply, and then you can just adjust the bottom layer's brightness if you want it slightly brighter or darker. Later on you can then merge your two layers down like this, just drag it, merge it down, and now that's one layer and it's on normal blending mode again. And that works, okay? That's one way of doing it. The other way, let's undo quickly, the other way is having the top layer as luminosity for the blending mode, but it doesn't work too well, and you just play with the brightness of that, but it makes the lines a little bit grey, as it doesn't make them a strong black. They also fade out slightly, but you might want to go for a bit of that. Try experimenting with colours and different shades of blacks and greys and whites, but I think black and white work the best for the top layer, just for those details at least. This is a way you can put black line details on, so I'm going to just choose the multiply again, turn the opacity full up, adjust the bottom line as layers accordingly. But this is how you can get the lines on top of your shape. So the shape is at the bottom, the lines are on top. Basically this is the equivalent, that's the best equivalent I can find so far of doing it, the equivalent of what you want, this kind of thing, lines on top of bottom shapes, or anything like that with clipping masks or clipping layers, which we don't have currently in Sketchbook. Please guys, Autodesk, please add clipping masks and clipping layers, to Sketchbook. It would make life so much easier. Thanks for watching. I hope this video has helped a lot of people though. Any questions, do let me know. More videos on Sketchbook to come. It's a great piece of software nevertheless.